In this video, I'm going to show you how to recreate these cool SaaS website hero designs in Adobe Illustrator without using Figma. So first up, I've got the fonts ready and the colors in my swatches panel, and I've got the text written out on the side. And first up, we're going to start off with Framer. You know, Framer's all the rage these days. Everyone's loving it and building it. I'm still a Webflow guy. First, I'm going to press M for the rectangle tool. I'll just start off with, a common rectangle, and we're going to add that black color. Now, what I'm going to do is go to the gradient tool on the right-hand side here, and I'm going to click the freeform gradient. Now, this allows me to have more of a free form organic flowing gradient. Select these little knobs and click black on these ones. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this sort of blue gradient, I'm going to start to add a few more knobs like this. And I'm going to put some with the colors. I'm going to spread these out a little bit like this. You can see how close we can get it. Here, and this blue I'm going to choose HSB for this one, and I'm going to drop the darkness on that, which is super cool. I think it looks pretty good, but there's one thing missing, and it's called grain. So I'm going to go to effect, and you can go to texture and click on grain, and then basically you'll get this effect. Obviously it's a raster effect, which typically you can do in Photoshop, but I'm going to bring the intensity down and the contrast. We want to change this probably to regular or sprinkles. So we'll go regular, and I'll slowly bring the intensity up. You can also go for soft as well. So, you know, you can play around with other ones, but I find that these ones are probably the best. So we'll go regular, and then I'll play with the contrast a little bit. We'll do soft, and I'll just drop the opacity, the intensity a little bit. Now, because I've added that effect, obviously, you can still edit the gradient actually, and it applies that as in the appearance panel. So in the appearance panel, you can see we can turn off the fields and stuff there. So I'm just going to tweak this a little bit. So we've got our background pretty good. Now they're using GT Walsham for the main text. I'm going to center it, adjust the leading, scale this up, and then we've got the second line here, which is going to be inter. Now they're probably using I think a medium. And then what I'm going to do is make it a gray. Make sure everything's centered. Beautiful. Now I want to make a button. Press M for the rectangle. Make a button roughly the size. I'm not going to get all this direct measurements because I'm going to basically wing it. So I've rounded off the corners. You can see if you drag the little white circle, you can round it off pretty good. Got a white circle, but we want to add a gradient. So I'm going to go to gradient, add a linear gradient, a linear one, and with an angle of 90. And then I'm going to add just this blue color here. I'm going to flip it, and this blue color, we can probably drop the opacity to 60, or we can double click, and we're actually going to decrease the opacity like that. Now I'm going to copy the text, start for free today, and we're going to make it the black color, and I'm assuming this one's probably inter, so we're going to go not medium, light, regular. I reckon it's a little regular. Tighten that up a little bit, scale it down. Awesome. Now to get this other effect, we're going to have to create an offset path. So I'm going to Control C and Control F to create a duplicate on top. Then what I'm going to do is you can go to Object, Path, Offset Path. And this is just going to basically copy the same path, but just do it on the outside. And you can also do minus to bring it on the inside. So we'll do maybe 4 pixels, and we'll click round. Press OK. And then I'm going to drop the opacity in my transparency panel to, let's say, 40%. And then on this shape here, I'm going to add a stroke. So on this one, we'll probably go with just a white stroke. Now we want to go to the opacity panel, and you can see what happens is the opacity is applying to the stroke as well, but we don't want that. We want the opacity to only affect the fill. So I'm going to go put the 40% on the fill there, and then the stroke we can do like 0.5, And instead of making it white, we're gonna make it this light blue color, and I'm just going to change it, just make it a little bit light, and I'll drop it to 2.5 because right now it looks a bit too big with the 0.5, I think. Then we have our button just like that, centered everything. Beautiful. Start free today. Make sure it's exactly the same text, and we can actually probably round everything off a little bit more. Boom. I think that looks really good. And actually I just realized it's a bit more bolder. Awesome. Cool. Now I'm gonna do the header. I'm gonna drop in the logo here, and then I'm gonna type out the header. I'm gonna copy the same text as the inter, and I'm just gonna scale it down using my shortcut keys. You can always do Control Shift and tap the full stop or the comma key, and it will basically go down or up if you press the full stop. And then what I like to do is I can just do an arrow like this really quickly, and I'm gonna make it dark gray, and we'll just round it off, and then duplicate, pressing Control D, little shortcut there for you. Enterprise and pricing. Boom, boom. Looking pretty good. Might scale everything a little bit up just like this. And I can just use the align tools to quickly align everything. And obviously because these words are longer, it's not going to be balanced. So I'm going to do it optically. Beautiful. Now I'm just going to duplicate this button, put it in the corner. And for this one, it's got a simple gradient, so we can use a gradient tool again. Do type 120 on the angle, and I'm going to put the dark blue and the light blue, and I can just reverse flip it. The dark blue, however, it's not fully the dark, it's a little bit on the, I think on the light side. Make this a bit lighter like that. Cool. And this will be open framer, make it white. It actually looks a little bit bolder and tighter, so we'll go semi bold. Just do a quick clipping mask. And then the bottom section just has the nice transparency. I'm going to duplicate that. Just put it like this. And we can straighten that up. Duplicate that. I'm going to lock the layers and quickly delete these arrows. And we're just going to make those white. And then these ones, we can just make gray. Or you can drop the opacity a little bit. And localize. And that. Cool. There we have it. We've got the framer hero image done. Pretty good, pretty quick. What do you think? Was that easy? All right, next up we have Twin Gate. First up, I love the colors on this side. I love the contrast of the black and the bright like neon green, and then got a grid in the background, and it's like this power line powering, you know, this platform, which is really cool. So I'm gonna press M, and once again we're gonna draw a rectangle. We're gonna lock that background so we can't select it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna create this grid pattern. So a really simple way is we can just create a box like this with the gray color. So you can see we've got this like gray, and all I gotta do is go object, you can go pattern, or you can go repeat and click grid. And now all I gotta do is just drag this out. You can decrease the width there, and bring it up like this so you can change the spacing. I want it to be more like on top of each other, so I'll just align it by eye for now. But you can also use the pattern tool, but here's a quick way to do it. Oh, there we go, awesome. So I'm just gonna scale this up. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now all I gotta do is I can add a mask. So if I just go to my transparency panel and I go make opacity mask. Now I'm gonna untick clip. So once you're in here, all you gotta do is I can make a box like this and I'll make it black. And then within this box, I'm just gonna make a shape like this. And this one, we're gonna make it a gradient. So you can see my gradient panel. The more you have white, the more it will show. The more you have black, the more it will hide. So basically we're creating a sort of a fade out effect. So I wanna have black on the edges and white in the middle. And you wanna do a linear gradient. So it's just on the sides, as you can see. And we can bring in these little nodes here in the middle. And so you get this effect. And so that's in the mask, and I can just click off the mask and I can just show you if I just bring this out. So this is what the mask looks like. It's a bit faded on the grid lines there, and it looks really good on the background. You can see it doesn't affect everywhere. It's only affecting this bit. And you can go in here, select that grid and go back to the mask and always like, hey, I can just change, I can change this, move the mask a little bit using the direct selection tool. You can invert the mask as well, as you can see, and you can release it. So I'm going to click off the mask and we got this. Now I'm going to start to build. Now I'm going to start off with white. I'll lock the background. It's time to ditch your VPM. So I'm going to go with, this is the font they use, Hove, TT Hoves. Pretty nice font. Looks futuristic, looks nice. And what I want to do is I scale this up. You can tell VPN is all caps. Same font as well. It's going to be probably light. And then I'm going to press enter to make it into 2 lines. I'll bring that line height up, bring it down. And I'm going to make a quick button. This one's a bit more thin. And it's fully rounded like a pill. Win gate for free. Scale that down, and I'm just going to select the black color like this. And then once again, we've got a little arrow. Sometimes the fonts have glyphs. So if I click on glyphs, sometimes you might find that it has like a little arrow, which is cool. So I can type here, and you can see we can use this one for now. Looks pretty similar. And I'm just adjusting the size like that. And I'll scale it up. Maybe too much. And I'll just make it on extra light. Cool. Just that. And then I'm going to center this like that. And optically just adjust it a little bit. And then we can also go request a demo, add this little bar. So you can add a box or you can add a stroke. I'm just going to add a rectangle and I can adjust it, do it as close as possible. And then you've got sort of you've got the Mac there around the corners like this. And once again, we can do like an offset path. I'll just use my shortcut key and you can do that. And then it has basically a light gradient. So if we go to the stroke, we want to add a linear gradient of 90-degree angle. And we want to add like a gray color. Bring the black up. Let me just flip this. There we go. And maybe it's a bit too bright, so we can just darken it a little bit. If you go to HSB, hue, saturation, brightness, bring that brightness down. So then you sort of get this effect like this that fades out on top of that. So cool. So we've got like that mock up there, and I'm not going to add all the other little details like the, you know, the screen and stuff, but I'll just show you how to connect it. So we bring this down like this, and then we can add a stroke on top of that stroke. I'm going to get the eyedropper, select this, and we'll drop the opacity a little bit, and maybe 0.5 thinness. I'm going to zoom in here, bring it up like this, and then what we're going to do is go to the appearance panel, go to FX, go to stylize, and we're going to go out of glow, select the color in our color swatches. So you can click color swatches, press OK, and it's just going to be a little one. I'll just use the default, so you can see it adds a little bit of difference. Hopefully you can see that, and that's how you get that. And now I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to reuse this, bring that, and I'm going to make it the dark gray color. MSP portal. This is going to be green, and I'm pretty sure it's regular, and it's going to be a bit smaller like this. Basically we can duplicate this pill and do like an offset again like this. We'll do 4 pixels, and then I'll just scale this in so it doesn't ruin it, and this can be that color, and you just drop the opacity down for quick. You can obviously like change the color instead of doing the opacity, but opacity is just faster. Boom, we got that. Got the logo, and then we can go product, then just Shift Alt and drag, and then press Control D to duplicate like 5 more times. Resources, and we got customers and pricing. Then I can use the horizontal align. Cool. Another option as well, a cool trick, is if you select this, you can obviously use repeat as well, and you can do grid, and you can just do this as well. Thing as well, you can group these together, and then select Shift, hold Shift, select the this shape, and I'm gonna make a clipping mask like that, as you can see. This little section from the website, just to add it in, because that will take time adding the icons and stuff. But there you have it. That's how you design TwinGate. Love this type of vibe. Next up, we have Evervolt. Now, these guys have an amazing gradient. Once again, we're going to start off with a, you guessed it, a rectangle. So we're going to start off with black. Then we're going to add a freeform gradient. And I'm going to add 3 big ones at the bottom, just like this. And then at the top, we'll add the black. We'll do 3 like this. Bring these down. So we're creating sort of this little wave. And then I'm going to bring these up a little bit. Make these dark purple. Like this. Then we're going to do 3 more. Like this. And we might have to do this. Add 2 more extra ones. So it's like 5. And for the lighter ones, like that. So you can also do like a mesh gradient to make it more smooth. You can increase that. You can increase the radius as well. But it's all just playing with it. Now I've got the logo, and I'm just going to drop it in the top corner like this, which is super cool. I'll start off with the nav bar for this one. So I'll type home, and for this one we are gonna go with regular. Scale it down a little bit, and it's gonna be more centered onto the artboard. Duplicate this. I'll group this together, and we'll center it. Get a bit smaller. Round this off, so make a rectangle and then round off the corners, and you can just press Shift X to shift to a stroke, and I'm going to change it to that gray color just like that, and you can see I'm going to line up the line tool, and it's pretty aligned. Obviously the gaps and spacing doesn't, you know, we can fix it and make it perfect, but for this tutorial we'll just leave it. Add a text box, and we're going to scale this up. Scale this down and put this text here for the button. Cool. So it's going to be Rupert, and it's going to be most likely regular or medium. Bring the spacing up a little bit. We're going to drag it to the left. So we want to left align, really easy to read, which is cool. And then for the text, we're going to make it regular, and we're going to make it this gray color, but we'll have to bring it up. So I'll double click on the swatch, and you can just bring it up. You know, we'll make it like an off-white. This, increase the spacing, bring that up. Request a demo. Try for free, and then request a demo has a peel box around it, and this is going to be regular. Make it a bit smaller. I'm going to align it to try for free, and we're going to bring down the height. Now on this text you can see it's actually got this gray fade effect, this gradient effect, and so I'm going to show you how you can create that. So I'm going to go to the appearance panel. I'm going to click on the fill button. So we've got this fill. Now with this fill, I'm going to go to the gradient tool and click on, we'll make it linear, and I'm just going to make sure that I select the node, and I'm going to drag one of the gray colors onto the node. We'll drag white like that, and literally that's how easy we made that, just with that simple gradient. And I can bring it up or make it more intense, and if the gray is too much, you just double click on the node and you bring the tint up or down. As you can see, create this image on Midjourney. I'm gonna drag and drop it in, and I'm gonna click edit in Photoshop, refresh that link, and there we have it. We've got this cool little floating block. Obviously it's not exact, but you know, you get the point. As before we try and finish this, I'm going to change the gradient. Instead of from the freeform version of points, we're going to do lines. And so with lines, we can do this. We delete all these points because lines is a lot smoother. And we can change it now to lines and see how it smooths out this. Left click once, and then you can left click again and drag, and you can alter this. Next up we have Mura. Now beige background. Who loves beige? I love beige. It's a great color to work with. Now we're gonna they're using Rupert as well. It seems to be a popular font. I haven't used it before. So make the text black, bring it to the front. I want to quickly center this. You can press Ctrl Shift C to quickly center that, and it's going to most likely be regular like this. Beautiful. Put a full stop there, and then we've got this little text here. I'll use the eyedropper to copy that real quick and just make it smaller. Adjust the kerning a little bit and the scale. Boom, just like that. Now to create these form boxes, I'm going to round off the corners a little bit. I'm going to make it white, and then I'm going to press X to go to stroke and add a little gray point there. We'll make the stroke 0.5. I'm going to make this one blue, and then all you got to do is add some text. So enter your work email, can just make that gray, scale that up, bring this one down, center it, and gonna align it to the middle there. As you can see, this one's pretty centered. Sign up for free. So really good contrast here with the button. It's a very clean hero image. I'm gonna scale this down and we're gonna go keep work and life separate. Email, and then we're gonna use that gray color again, as you can see. And we don't have to use light because it gets a bit thin, so they're still using regular, they're just using a very small size there. So we got this text here as well. This is regular again, and it's just small. We'll lock the background, bring this up. And then I'm gonna make a rectangle for the nav bar. Bring that up. I'm just going to paste the logo in. Just like that. I'm just going to Alt-Shift duplicate this. And go, what is Mura? I'm going to make a stroke like this. And if you go to show options in the stroke panel, you can go to arrowheads. And I always typically use this arrowhead here. You can round it. And then what you want to do is you want to expand it. Now delete that stroke. So now we've got this arrow like that. Obviously you can get one from the icon pack and whatever, but it's just simple to do that like that. We'll scale it all down. Get near the logo. There we go. And then we can just reuse some of these elements as well. For this one, black, I'm going to select the scale, this, like that. So I'm just dragging in the sides. You can use your arrow keys if you hold shift and left and right arrow keys as well. Just make sure you use direct selection tool by pressing A and select the corners, because sometimes it will stretch it out. See, it stretches the corners and you don't want to do that in Illustrator. I'm pretty sure you can change it in the preferences, but we'll see. And we duplicate this and go contact sales. And then for Mura, we've got these nice little boxes. It's literally just white with a dark stroke, most likely black. I'll put it at 0.5 and we're going to press A and then round it off. Scale this. And last we have Vercel. Once again, we're going to make a rectangle cover the box and it's going to be black. We're going to grab the text. It's Geist for this one. Increase the font. I'm going to center it and then I'm going to press T for the type tool, select the text here and then just make it gray like that. And I'm going to press Shift Enter after the and to do a breakpoint there. We'll probably scale that up, not too much. Center that to the artboard as you can see. And then we're going to make the buttons. Once again, starting with a rectangle. Lowercase. And this is going to be go regular. And then for a triangle, I'm going to start with a star. No, I'm going to start with a polygon, drag this out, and then just tap the arrow key down and it should create a triangle like this. Alright. Make that white. Scale this down a bit. This version will be black, white. Get rid of that triangle, and then what we do is make the stroke like 0.5, and we make it that gray color, and you get this effect, which is really cool. Now add the logo in the corner. I'm gonna use the eyedropper tool, select the white, and we'll go products like this. And now I'm gonna steal this. Just double click, Control C on that. You can literally paste this really quick. Once again, if I Control G, and we can go repeat, and we'll do grid like this. And I just expanded it all and deleted the mask around it, and then I can edit. Pricing. Horizontal. Just gonna space it by I for now. Boom. And we're just gonna make this gray. I'm gonna duplicate that, type contact, and then we're gonna have 2 buttons, but this time it's not rounded. So you just select, click once with the direct selection tool, and then you can fix that, change it. So we can see they've created a box here. Like a square that goes like this. Bring all the way up. And they've also created this, and I can just rotate it, group this, and we've got that, as you can see. And then this line is a bit more darker. Just Alt, drag it, and just lock it in like this. Cool. So we've got that, as you can see. Goes down, which is really cool. And once again, it's got that grid tool, so I can just reuse this. Release that. Make a duplicate of this, and we'll just make a clipping mask. So I can double click. So it's in that mask. Let me just. Cool. Can scale it down a little bit. We'll just make sure that it's behind everything. I'm gonna make a triangle once again. We'll just make it white. Now I'm going to Shift X to make it a stroke. Now I'm going to make a smaller version and do this. Then select them both and press W and left click on them both to do the blend tool. Now if you hold Alt or Option and left click once, it will bring the blend options, and I can change it to specified steps, or you can go specified distance. It's really up to you. If I do this, you can do it like this, or steps, it's fine. So I'm gonna do basically this, and which is almost there. And then what you want to do is you want to duplicate this, make it black, add the freeform gradient. We'll go black, black, and black like this. do the opacity. So we've got the gradient tool. I've added the black and the white so I know where I want to decrease opacity. So I'm going to left click on this, go to transparency and drop the opacity down. And now the bottom layer, it's going to show those triangles. Left click this and we'll drop the opacity slightly, like 50%. And we'll do the same for the other side. 50% here. That's pretty close. I'm gonna do it over here. I'm gonna make a line. Make sure that it's long enough so it can fit. Do a line like this, and we're gonna give it. We'll give it the blue color. Actually, it can just be. And then if we go object repeat, we can do radial. Oops. Well, make sure it's on the stroke, not the fill. And then yeah, so if we do radial, we can just increase this. Oh, let me just reset that. Make sure the stroke is on, say, we'll just do 1. And then go repeat, radial, and increase it by like a lot. So increase it like this. Might just scale it down for now. Got that. Got this. I can double click into the clipping mask and I can bring it like behind the triangle there. Maybe just scale it. I think we've maxed it out. We can duplicate it and maybe rotate it so it's right in the middle there, as you can see. So cool, we've got something like this. I'll just delete that other one. And then what we would have to do is add another box. We'd probably say like a gradient or something. So this one will be red, and then we got yellow. This one be like a, should be more of like a aqua green. This one can be blue, like this. Please change this. Select that box. If we change the saturation or say hue, color, you can see it changed the color of all the strokes. But it's going to apply it to the background as well. So it's best to do it probably in Photoshop once you've got the lines, and then do it like that. So yeah, you can create something like this and then add colors, and it's more custom that you've got to spend time figuring out. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video and saw the power of Adobe Illustrator, and you can actually create hero images, you can create UI designs, full websites in Illustrator if you know the tools and know how to create cool visuals and cool effects. So if you want to see more like this, I do have a video where I take a website I designed in Illustrator and built it in Webflow. You can check that video right here. It's a 30-minute tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you do like this type of content where I'm designing and it's more visual design, branding, websites, then let me know in the comments below and hit subscribe, because it lets me know that you want more of this. Thanks so much. Chat to you next time.